The Monday, April 26, 2021 Board of Adjustment meeting is now in session. First item on the agenda is roll call. When I say your name, please say here. Debbie Juday, here. Michael Nichols.
Here.
Lance Antia.
Not present.
Kevin Maston.
Not present.
Shawan Gabriel.
Here.
Russell Parmill.
Here.
Ventress Gerald.
Here.
Tina Schofield.
Here.
Suzanne Meyer.
Here.
Joanne Clifton.
Here.
Bob Bruno.
Here.
Thank you. We will now have staff present the format for our remote meeting.
So tonight we have a special use permit. The applicant is on, Don Scarborough. And we have, Matthias, do we have any other callers in?
We do not have any other callers.
There's no other callers, so we will not have to be concerned, of course, about if somebody has standing or the evidentiary part. So the format should be pretty easy tonight. Catherine Gardner, our new community development manager, we're happy to have her here. She'll make a staff report presentation. Don will then give his presentation of what is being proposed, and then the board can deliberate.
Great, thank you. We need to approve should I go ahead and do that part?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We need to approve the November 30th, 2020 minutes. Is there a motion for approval for the November 30th, 2020 minutes?
So move, Ventress Gerald.
Ventress, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Ventress made the motion and Mike seconded it. And so we will take a vote. When I call your name, if you will vote by responding yes or no, saying if you approve of the minutes, please. Debbie, yes. Michael?
Yes.
Shawan?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Ventress?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Joanne?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Thank you. Don Scarborough, agent for owner, applying for a special use permit to allow an oversized accessory structure requiring authorization by the Board of Adjustment for property located at 5929 Oakmont Court, being all of PIN number 6876-18-2254.00 containing 0.605 acres plus or minus and located in an RS12 zoning district. Now staff will present the staff report.
Good evening, Board of Adjustment. I will turn my camera off and go through this presentation, which is information that's also presented in your staff report. Let's see.
Thank you, Catherine. We welcome you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So our case tonight is special use permit K-21.02. The applicant is Don Scarborough. He's the agent for the property owners. They have applied for a special use permit to allow for the construction of an oversized accessory structure that requires authorization by the Board of Adjustment. The property is located at 5929 Oakmont Court. It's approximately 0.61 acres, 0.605, and the zoning is RS12. You can see here it's located on the corner of Stanley Farm Road and Oakmont Court, shown with the red arrow. The proposed plan for location, you'll see the main residence here. This is the driveway, and the garage is located at the end of the driveway. They exceed the minimum setbacks. The minimum is minimum front setback is 75 feet, rear is 3 feet, the street side is 20 feet, and the right side is 3 feet. So he's proposing approximately 98 feet from the street on Oakmont Court, 51 to 52 feet from the rear. It looks like the property is angled a little bit. The street side, that's the Stanley Farm Road side, that's approximately 109.62 feet. And then the right side, the interior side, that would be about 14.5 feet. So all of the setbacks have been exceeded as submitted. So the picture in the bottom left shows the site in relation to the larger area. So it's highlighted in the teal color here, located at the corner of Oakmont Court and Stanley Farm Road. But the closest major intersection would be Hopkins and West Mountain Street. But that gives you a reference and a general vicinity map. But then this is, of course, the more detailed location at the corner of Stanley Farm and Oakmont Court. This slide shows the proposed elevations on all sides, and then the floor plan for the ground floor and then the second floor loft storage. So the proposed first floor square footage is 672 square feet, and then that loft storage adds another 288 square feet to the building, but the main footprint is that 672 square feet. The materials on the garage are brick on the front elevation that you would see driving up the driveway, with a brick foundation on all other elevations, and then siding along all the other side elevations, and then in the gable ends. Your required findings for the quasi-judicial decision is that the use will not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed and developed according to the application and plan as submitted and approved. The use will meet all required conditions and specifications. The use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, or that the use is a public necessity, and that the location and character of the use, if developed according to the application and plan submitted and approved, will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located and in general conformity with the Unified Development Ordinance.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Does the board have some questions for Catherine? Catherine, since there are no other phone calls, I would assume that there are no neighbors that are concerned or in opposition to this.
I received several calls from neighbors when the sign went up in the yard, so it was noticed with a mailing and sign placed on the property, and several called to inquire about what the sign and the case that would be associated with that, but nobody voiced any opposition. It was more curiosity based.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions that the board has for Catherine?
Can I see the views again of the actual building? It looks pretty residential. So. All right, thanks, Catherine.
Catherine, would you mind telling us again how far it will be from the property line on the piece of property, if you're looking down at the map, the piece of property on the right-hand side where the nice fence is.
So it is located approximately 14.5 feet off the property line to the neighbor. To Stanley Farm Road, it would be approximately 109 feet, give or take some.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions for Catherine? Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
The board will now hear testimony from the applicant.
Okay. This is Don Scarborough. First and foremost, thank you so much for assisting me with this evening. Catherine summarized everything very well, took away a lot of the things I was supposed to say, but that helped out a whole lot. What I would like to first address is the need for the additional square footage and why it came about. The client needs additional storage area, which we're providing in the upstairs, the loft. And in order to accommodate that, we needed, of course, steps. The interior steps will utilize approximately 3 feet. That going across the 24 feet is what's actually necessitated the 72 square feet of additional footprint that we're requesting the variance on. The storage facility, of course, will be in the loft area. One of the things I would like to impress upon the board would be we went to significant lengths to make sure that what we were doing was congruent with both the neighborhood and the house itself. Working with the client, we've already identified the brick that's used on the house, and we've reached out to Pine Hall, the provider, and we've matched the brick. We've also matched the siding that would go on the gable end on the front. So what we feel like is because we've situated the structure where we have, we're exceeding the setback on the right, and it comes to the end of the driveway. And the house itself is a 2-story. The garage will be a 2-story. So as I was indicating, it should be very, very consistent and appear to match, and just it will fit right in with the house. And of course, that should fit in with the neighborhood as well. That was the bulk of what I had left after the previous person, Catherine, had indicated all the factual data. Yes, it'll match up nice with the house and the neighborhood. That's what we're going to achieve should this be approved. But the need for the additional square footage came about because of the stairs in the rear of the structure. Any questions?
Hey, Don, what are you actually going to be storing in? What kind of vehicle are you going to be storing in it?
The customer has two cars. I think one's a Jeep, and I don't know the other vehicle the client has. And then upstairs, just tools and whatnot is what he plans on storing upstairs.
Okay, so it's not built for an RV storage or typical vehicle of that nature.
No, there's no in it, but it's not big enough for what I perceive to be an RV. But no, to my knowledge, the client doesn't have an RV. I haven't seen one on the property.
So Don,
Go ahead, Finn.
go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I was just gonna ask Don, is there any barrier between, like a fence or tree barrier up between the owner and the one to the right now?
There is a brick fence with metal on the right. It doesn't start until right where we start the proposed garage, but I'm reasonably sure that's on the neighbor's yard.
Okay. Are they gonna put any fencing or barrier up after the garage is built?
We're discussing my client. we haven't had any conversations putting an additional fence up, no.
So Mike, this garage will be a storage garage for personal use vehicles. There's no resale, it's not a workshop garage, right?
No, nothing like that, no, ma'am.
Not a maintenance shop.
Oh, no, ma'am.
Are there any other questions for Dawn? Okay, thank you, Dawn. Are there any other callers that have called in? Adam?
No, no one else has called in.
Okay, or thank you. Okay. Does the board need to talk among ourselves about anything? Do y'all have any questions of other board members? Okay, let's go ahead and go over the findings based on the factual testimony and the evidence presented without consideration of any hearsay. The first one is that the use will not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed and developed according to the application and plan as submitted and approved. The second one is that the use meets all required conditions and specifications. The third question that we have to answer is that the use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting properties. And then the fourth one is that the location and character of the use, if developed according to the application and plan submitted and approved, will be in harmony with the area in which it is located and in general conformity with Kernersville Development Plan. Do we have a motion to approve or to deny or to approve with conditions this special use permit?
I motion to approve.
Okay,
I
thank you,
second.
Suzanne. Okay, Suzanne made the motion and who seconded it? Ventress? Thank you. Okay, if you'll please, we'll take a vote. So if each board member will say yes, that you agree, or no, it'll be a verbal vote. I say yes, I agree. Michael?
Yes, agree.
Lance? Lance, are you there?
Lance is not present.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Shawan?
Yes, agree.
Russell?
Yes, agree.
Ventress?
I agree.
Tina?
Yes, I agree.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Joanne?
Yes, I agree.
Bob?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. The special use permit has been approved. And now, staff, do we have any updates?
Just a couple updates. One thing is there's been new state statutes passed that impacts the Board of Adjustment. At the next time we have a Board of Adjustment meeting, staff will go over that. We'll send out some information beforehand. It's pretty straightforward. It kind of simplifies things. It places greater emphasis on who has standing and in what is evidence. The chair will actually rule on all testimony whether or not it can be submitted as evidence. That if somebody disagrees with the chair, a vote is taking place by the Board of Adjustment. So it'll help streamline and make the proceedings much more judicial, quasi-judicial, I should say. And so we don't have a long drawn out meeting where people say, I really like this person, I don't like this person, or it'll make it much more formal. So we're excited about that. That text amendment is going through now. One question I have, Catherine and I have been talking about, one of our main cases is these oversized garages, but I think in my 20-some years, the only time an oversized garage wasn't approved was when a guy had to admit he was going to run a business out of it, and he withdrew his case. So right now, how our ordinance reads, they get 5% of the zoning lot or 5% of what it's zoned. So for instance, this property is zoned RS9, but it is a much larger lot than RS9. So basically 9,000 square feet times 5%, he's allowed up to a certain size. And it says whichever is less. So I think we're looking at a text amendment that would say whatever is greater. So in the case like tonight, it's a larger lot, big setbacks. And so by the greater, I think this one would have been allowed a building permit. Any thoughts or comments by the Board of Adjustment of instead of going to the smaller number, going to the larger number?
I don't have any.
So staff will be looking at it as an amendment. The third thing is the next Board of Adjustment meeting will most likely be in person. We'll meet we're working on meeting at the new fire station out in NC 66. They have a very large room that we can have the distance that we need and the spacing. And so the planning board is looking at holding a June meeting at that location. And currently Catherine and I are working out with IT on how to do mics and speakers. So hopefully our next Board of Adjustment meeting will be in person, and most likely it'll be at the new fire station. The last thing I have is, the second last thing is, we've had some staff has had some discussions with the planning board for the future time of meetings. I was telling somebody earlier, I've been in this business so long, I remember public meetings starting at 8 o'clock at night. And then over time, they've gone to 7. And now many meetings are going to 6 because lifestyles have changed and so forth. Are there any thoughts on the start time of meetings? Do you have any preference? 6, 6:30, 7, 8?
I would prefer a little bit later, 6:30 maybe.
6:30?
Jeff, I was going to just offer, and I know everyone's different, but I'm flexible where even during the day, through the course of the business day, if folks wanted to do that, and not have them at night at all. But I understand that's not applicable to everybody. So, but I just throw that out there for some consideration if folks would rather, do it in the afternoon or something.
You meaning like a lunch hour, Russ?
Yeah, 1 o'clock or even 3:30 or what, just whatever. I realize folks, have to work 8 to 5, but if there is some flexibility and it's easier for folks, instead of having to do it in the evenings when you wrestle with, dinner or family and things of that nature, just throw that out as an option for consideration.
Yeah, Catherine shared with me today. Catherine comes from Salisbury. She also worked up in Virginia. But Catherine, you want to talk about the experience in Salisbury?
Salisbury's planning board and Board of Adjustment met at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it worked well for retired folks or folks who are in the business or are developers. But in terms of getting participation on the planning board or having neighbors come out for public meetings, it got to be a little bit of a tricky issue because there were kids to pick up from school or they were still working. And so we occasionally got complaints about, well, I can't be there. And so therefore I can't give my evidence or my testimony or just my thoughts. And so, you know, it came up from time to time that 4 o'clock wasn't an ideal start time.
Any other thoughts on time?
I don't mind 7 o'clock. 7 is kind of in the middle there, it seems like, after dinner and before 8. So 7 works, 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Same here.
Same here.
6:37 works for me.
So is there any preference? So right now I'm kind of hearing 6:30 or 7. Any preference, 6:30 or 7?
I'd rather do 6:30, but 7's not.
6:30 for Shawan, and then 6.
Say that again, Shawan?
I prefer earlier, like 6:30 would be better than 7 for me.
Yeah, similarly, I'd prefer 6:30 earlier
6:30.
rather than later.
I prefer 6:30 as well.
I do too.
Yeah, so Debbie,
Yes.
you may want to entertain I'm kind of hearing consensus that 6:30 is working best, would work best for everyone. So if you could, may want to entertain a motion to change the Board of Adjustment time from 7 to 6:30.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we change the meeting time from 6:30 to 7.
Or 7
Okay.
to 6:30.
30.
From 7 to 6:30, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Fentress. And do we have a second?
I'll
Second,
second that.
Thank you,
Mike
Bob.
second.
And please say yes for everyone who agrees to change the meeting from 7 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. We'll take the vote now. I say yes. Is there anyone that is not in agreement with it? Okay, let's just go ahead and go through the names just so that we'll make sure that everyone is in agreement. I say yes. Michael,
Yes.
Shawan,
Yes.
Russell,
yes.
Ventress,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Thank you. The meeting has now been changed to 6:30 instead of 7 p.m. when we resume the on-location meetings, which, like Jeff said, will be at the new fire station on 66. And of course, we'll get more information on that. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
In a second.
Russ and Joanne. Russ motion, Joanne second.
Thank you. And all in favor by saying yes?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Thank you,
Great.
everyone.